Hi, my name is Laura Miniel, and I'm the founder of this company, Solar Kitchen. This is the goal and the dream, a solar-powered indoor series of ovens and kitchen equipment that use solar to offset, either partially or completely, the need to purchase electricity to run equipment. The problem that inspired me to start working on this many years ago is that my aunt was a professional baker, and friends of mine talk about starting a restaurant, but the costs are a barrier. The equipment itself can run anywhere between $10,000 to $100,000, and the average utility bill, which recurs every month, is anywhere between $300 to $3,000. So in order to determine if this was feasible or not, we first had to understand the problem from a local perspective. I went out into the community and talked to the owner of Captain Bob's Restaurant, Mi Pueblito, Gourmet Central, Juani's Cakes and More, and Tom's Barbecue to find out and establish if there was a need for this technology. The daytime usage versus nighttime usage of each of these restaurants was plotted on a chart. The white area is the daytime area and the blue area is the nighttime area. This chart shows how much each business could potentially benefit from a solar offset. As you can see, most of these food production businesses operate their equipment during daylight hours. With a few exceptions, Tony's Barbecue starts at 2:30 in the morning until 7 in the morning, would not be able to use solar because it's dark. And Mi Pueblito also, because they start early at about 7 a.m. and go on until midnight, but they would also not be able to use solar for that early morning portion and also the late night portion. But for the most part, there is a substantial amount of money that could be saved. And in particular, Juani's Cakes and Gourmet Central operate entirely during the day, which would give them near 100% benefit if this were a perfectly sunny day and they were using this technology. There is an established need for this technology. Most of the companies surveyed operate primarily during the day, and their utility bills are extremely high, on average between $1,600 to $2,100, and that does not even include paying your staff, your rent, or any other expenses. The highest end was paying $3,300 to $3,600 a month. In-depth market research will be conducted, including direct energy measurements, daily usage patterns, in order to develop an acceptable cost and pricing model. The high energy bills you saw from our local businesses here in Brownsville were not an aberration, because producing heat is highly energy intensive. According to Energy Star, an entire household would use about 12,000 kilowatt hours annually, but a single deep fryer would use over 18,000, and that is because the fryer is producing heat. People think, why don't you just put regular solar panels on a restaurant roof? But PV panels simply aren't capable of producing that much heat in real time. Solar Kitchen uses a different type of sun collection system that turns sunlight into heat, which is used immediately at the cooking appliance. There's no storage. It heats equipment up directly in real time, so you don't have to buy electricity or natural gas for that part of the day. This is just so you can see that solar can be used as a heat input, and it can produce, it can do useful work. It can cook food. This is just imitating a stove burner, one method of doing it. And here you can see it's cooking the egg. And as you can see, it's a very small panel that I'm using. It's not even, obviously not even close to the size of a PV array. If you tried to do that to produce 750 to 800 watts constantly with PV, you'd need like at least like 3 to 4 40-pound panels each. This is similar to a toaster oven broiler that I was trying to copy the effect of, and it did actually toast it, crisp it pretty well, and it was still boiling there, as you can see. And that's again just with pure solar power. Not even insulated, it's just out there in the middle of just sitting out there. This is more of an oven demonstration. This is this is a parabolic system that concentrates light kind of on that tube that you see there. And you can see it bakes bread. One of the real advantages of this is that I don't have to pay for any of that. I can, bake bread all day, boil beans all day, do, very highly energy intensive kitchen applications, and I don't pay anything more than the basic cost of dry beans, flour, water, because I'm not paying for any of this. This is interesting. This is going along with that thought. You can produce some pretty high-end things. This is a roasted watermelon. It takes about 3 to 4 hours. It's already nighttime by the time I finish. And the idea behind this was to make it's like a vegan meat substitute. And I read about it. I wanted to try it out. And so you can make sushi with it. You can see the little watermelon seed in there. It's just kind of probably would be pretty expensive if you bought this in a store or in a restaurant because it is highly energy intensive. There you can, another agricultural application, you can just cook food right off the tree. This is for, like we just had the winter storm, you know, you can basically make rice and beans all the time. That's a totally passive system, mostly relying on reflection. So the major benefit to food producers who are able to incorporate solar into their equipment is that over time, once the initial installation is paid off, you will have a substantial energy savings throughout the life of your equipment. Whereas a person buying a regular stove range, once they pay off the stove range, will continue to have very high utility payments forever, as long as they keep using it. Our first target is the North American market, which is about a $2.5 billion market for primary cooking equipment. We feel providing equipment with a solar offset would be highly attractive to businesses struggling with high monthly bills. And if Solar Kitchen were able to obtain 1% of this market in 10 years, that would equal $25 million in revenue. As you can see, the COVID pandemic has affected and driven down demand in 2020, but is quickly expected to recover once the economy gets going again. And the reason for that recovery is basically that the global population is increasing worldwide, and the more people there are, the more food has to be produced, and to produce the food, you have to have equipment. There's also a rise in disposable income, and commercial kitchens are investing in energy-efficient appliances to protect their bottom line so they don't have to raise the price of food. These are the components of the project that I am seeking funding for: market research to develop a cost and pricing model, scientific research R&D, and the patent funding will help develop and hire the patent attorney. The business model consists of research and development for the first 2 years. Then we will send off the refined commercialized version for third-party validation and begin licensing and producing the equipment here in Brownsville. Approximately 75% of the market is dominated by 4 major equipment producers. This market is considered difficult to enter, and pricing is volatile due to the cost of steel. However, the Solar Kitchen module is designed to be a hybrid system that can integrate solar into existing equipment during the day to offset high utility bills. We still need the gas or electric system in place so that it can be used 24 hours, regardless of whether the sun is shining or not. This means we would be looking at these manufacturers as potential partners as well. In the final analysis, Solar Kitchen offers a breakthrough in energy innovation that offers extreme competitive advantages to struggling kitchen owners who can save a substantial amount of money instead of paying high utilities. Just as I was able to use solar to bake bread and roast while paying zero in utility overhead, this system could very well revolutionize the food production business. Brownsville, Texas would be the sole location and manufacturer of the Solar Kitchen arrays for the entire United States and elsewhere, because I am the patent holder and we are the ideal place to manufacture and ship. We are hub zoned, we have a skilled labor pool, sea freight via the Port of Brownsville, rail shipping and import-export trucking companies here. We will continue to receive support through the UTRGV Entrepreneurship and Commercialization Center to create the infrastructure and access to talent in the local entrepreneurial ecosystem. On the science team, I've also reached an agreement with Wayne Kashmar, who is an excellent, highly talented individual. Restaurants and food-producing industries are a keystone of any city's economic base. Because daytime solar cooking is so inexpensive, it opens up the potential for new models. One idea was turning the Market Square area into a revitalization food court for new entrepreneurs. Small vacant buildings would have the Solar Kitchen equipment installed. These would be rented out to people who want to try out a new food or restaurant concept, but are afraid of the risk of buying this equipment themselves. They could try out the restaurant on a small scale, and if successful, they would outgrow the space and buy and renovate larger properties nearby. The test kitchen would then be rented out to a new restaurant startup. The PI of Solar Kitchen recently won first place in a USDA ARS HeroX NASA Tournament Lab competition for another solar design. We've spent over 8 years research and testing various solar models. The company was formed in 2020, and we have a trademark live on the USPTO, is to produce indoor solar-powered kitchen equipment for commercial businesses. We also are producing outdoor solar appliances like I've demonstrated in this video. Thank you so very much to the businesses that allowed me to interview them for this production. Thank you.
Can you all hear me?
Sorry, guys, I wasn't ready for the Zoom. Are they talking right now? Yeah, I was able to see it on Facebook while we were solving some of the other technical.
Part of the design. It's actually in 3 phases, and I tried to keep this presentation on the economic side, but there's a whole other scientific team that is going to be working on it. And I've already made contact with people from a group actually that is developing some aerospace equipment out of MIT, some research that was done over there with regard to insulators. And let's see, there's actually several people. I've got a modeler. There's a whole group that's behind this, but we're at the research and development phase right now. If you saw the whole video, I was demonstrating some of the different methods of using solar power as a heat input for cooking, and it can actually basically replicate any kind of cooking that you need to do because it's non-directional and it's not gravity dependent, and it's also not fuel dependent other than sunlight. And so unlike, something like gas where it generally has to be under because it tends to rise, like heat rises, because it's solar and it's a wavelength, you can just flip it around and move it with mirrors. So if you want to boil it, you just flip it over on top. If you want to bake with it, you can surround the compartment. You can focus it or you can use it generally. And
so does it maintain a consistent temperature? Or do you,
Yes.
okay.
That's one of the things we're looking at as far as the advanced design of it, because normally if you think of the solar plex, at noon, like solar noon is going to be the highest radiation. But like when I'm cooking with it, that's not really an advantage, because if you were like, let's say you're baking a cake, right, and you've got 3 sets of cakes you have to bake in a day, you don't want the temperature of the oven to rise at noon and then go down, because then the one at noon get scorched, right? And you want it to be predictable so that your the thermostat's already built into your equipment doesn't malfunction, because it can't compensate for it. A thermostat only adds heat when it expects it to fall, right? But if you're adding in heat yourself, then the temperature's going to keep rising. It really can't compensate for that. And so, yeah, that is one of the things definitely and that has a lot to do with geometry, actually. But, yes.
Great, thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about your the proprietary position you have? Is it patented? Is it patent pending? What kind of protection do you have on the idea?
Yes, it is patent pending, and it has already been. Let's see. Actually, there's 2 patent pending. There's 2 provisionals on it. I did one.
So how long ago did you file the provisionals?
Within 6 months. And right now, I just won a $20,000 award from a NASA Tournament Lab USDA research program for another solar design, and that's going to go into the patent probably. Because now I have that one actually, and so I need to patent both of them. But both of them have provisions on them right now.
So in terms of the path that they're on, when do you expect to know the resolution of the provisionals?
Well, as soon as you file for the initial patent, that extent, your provisional has a 12-month, generally a 12-month with like more or less a 6-month grace period, right? And so, as soon as I file the patent, it'll stop the clock on that. And I've already done, this is more of like the economic side of it. There is also about a 15-page project narrative. There's a bunch of technical specifications, go, no-go points. I don't know if you've ever done grant applications before, but they're pretty technical. And this one was with the Department of Energy. And so they needed, I've got like 20 pages worth of documentation on the equipment itself. But the provisional was very specific. It did have diagrams in it, claims, everything you would need to correct your idea. And I also spoke when I was talking to NREL, which is the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, to see if they'd be able to consult on it. They said they hadn't heard of anything like this, so they were very happy about it. One of former NREL person is going to be one of the people helping in the project, most likely.
Yeah, thank you.
Laura, I'm wondering, this is obviously a great concept, a great idea overall, and I'm wondering what the roadblocks have been for, let's just say, a larger appliance manufacturer like GE or something like that. Why haven't they done this? What has been the barriers up to now? Is it something that you discovered that maybe they haven't yet, or why do you think that these others haven't done it?
I think generally, like even among like people who do solar ovens and solar baking, there is, if you're really into solar, they're usually fine with baking outside. I wanted to bring it indoors because I saw that, you can't really do it indoor. It's brand new. Some of the materials I want to order just came out of publication like within the last 2 years. Like one of them I think I mentioned was at MIT, just came out of their research, like not even, I think 2018. Some of this stuff is just extremely brand new. And I don't even know why they haven't done it yet. I think it's just too new. Like India, they just barely came out with a solar pasteurization. That was one of the few examples of indoor solar cooking I've ever seen, and it's for a milk factory. And what they do is they have these pump systems, and they pump the milk out the pipes on the roof, and the solar plates heat it, so it's direct solar. And but it's not like a user-friendly system, right? Like, it's not like interchangeable. Like, you can't do any kind of other thing with it. It's only for milk pasteurization. And so a lot of these developments are usually pre-specific to a certain task, right? And I don't know, I feel like the basically kitchen equipment manufacturers, a lot of them have been in business hundreds of years. I think some of them from like the 1800s. 1900s. I think Vulcan's from like 1850 or so. And that's because, you know, the design hasn't changed that much. Like, what is an oven, right? It's a compartment with like insulation and a shell and a thermostat and a heating element, or gas, right? So there's been some innovations. I mean, they've gone digital in some ways. You have like induction cooktops. That's relatively new. But I think for the most part, it's I don't know. I don't really know. I think it's just something very new. Maybe the materials didn't exist 10 years ago. And actually, that's probably it. Because some of the other, I mean, I don't want to go into like the proprietary part of it, but some of the stuff I'm ordering is, there isn't even an American manufacturer for some of it. I've had to go to Japan or Australia.
Thanks.
Audio.
I think what was missed is the
Yeah, I saw that. It was very helpful. Thanks.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, judges, as well, for the Q&A session. Let me just give you a second here. Laura, can you please be so kind to disconnect from the Zoom conference? Thank you
Sure.
again.
Thank you.